That's our memorable song at 9:30 in the morning. Now, I did tell you at 9:30 we were going to have someone live on air talking to us about the biggest barriers of starting your own business. So the line is, during Small Business Advice Week, new research has revealed that the British public thinks the biggest barriers of starting your own business, more than 9 in 10 people, that's 94% of people, have said they didn't have the support to set up their own business, and 1 in 5, that's 20%, admitted they lacked finances to do so. So we're talking to Darshana Ubl. Darshana is the CEO of Key Person of Influence and Female Ambassador of the Year's Small Business Advice Week. She is a business expert who specializes in helping SEMs grow and compete with their larger rivals. So we've got her on the air and we're going to talk to her about all things business right now. Good morning. Hello, Darshana.
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you this morning?
Very good.
So thank you for joining us.
Yes.
And I've just given the listeners a bit of an overview of what we're going to be talking about, but can you tell us what the research that you found reveals and says about people in our area?
Yes, definitely. In Slough, we've noticed that we've got 32% of people who'd like to start their own business, but a majority of these people feel that they don't have the support they need to start their own business right away. People who wouldn't start a new business, they've said that it's basically because of the lack of finance.
And what do you think the key barriers are to stop starting people? Apart from the finance aspect, do you think there's anything else that's stopping them as well?
Absolutely. Depending on what industry it is, the barriers differ, but the predominant barriers can be categorized into two: the internal world barriers and the external barriers. So internally, those are barriers like fear of failure, fear of success, mindset, whether I should do business or not, am I going to be successful, those kind of things. And on the external end, besides just funding, there are other barriers such as, do I have the technical capability? Am I, do I have the pulse with the modern technology? What's my strategy? Is it the right one? And of course, everything relies back onto the operational excellence of a business.
And what are the benefits of actually having your own business and not just working for someone else?
Well, a lot of people start a business because they think they want to be their own boss, and they want to dictate what time they go to work and get some flexibility. Although you can get a lot of flexibility, that's a great advantage. You take a risk where if things come out well, you have a very, very, very good reward, and if they don't, then you have to work hard. But overall, I believe that sometimes in business you work really hard and spend a few years of your life in a way that most people won't, to then enjoy life later in a way that most people can't.
And is owning your own business a good idea for everybody?
Well, I really think business isn't something that's one size that fits all. People who are owning their business, they need to have some insights into the area of where this business is going to solve a problem or, a distinctive problem or find a solution. So I strongly believe that people who start a business should have on-the-job training. They should have developed skills in the area before they start a business. And it's easier to start a business today in today's world, but it is less easy to make it a successful one. So it's really cool if people understand what are the soft skills along with what is needed for the business. Like in Entrevo, we help more than 4,000 businesses that have been through the training programs that we run. And we've got more than 600 businesses that go through the Key Person of Influence training program. This has helped us get the insights where we can understand that, business has an upside, but there is a lot of training, there's a lot of work, not just before you start a business, but even whilst you have an established business.
And do you think it's important for people to actually own their own businesses? I guess there's obviously the thing that if there's someone that's opening up a new business in Slough, they're opening up opportunities for others as well.
Absolutely. If you look at the UK's economy and, our employment stats, I was really surprised to know that we've got more than 3.6 million businesses which employ just the owner. So let's imagine if the economy, with the uptick of the economy, businesses get more attraction, they're able to export more. Even if half of these people employed one person other than themselves, we would create 1.8 million jobs in the UK.
Wow, that is a big number. And going back to the barriers, what can be done to break these barriers down?
Well, you've got to first of all understand which is the biggest barrier in your business. Depending on which one that is, you might want to start looking at, is that something that needs more awareness for the team? Is there any training required, mentoring required? There are many areas where you can get training and mentoring for business if that's a barrier. If skills are the barrier, then you need to hire the right staff. You really need to have the right people in your team. And if it's technical or technological, then you need to look at it from that end. Now, if I look at the stats we have here in Slough, the biggest thing people are feeling is that they need more support with finance. So they could look at government schemes such as SEIS, which is the Seed Enterprise Investment Scheme, which is really a good option for small businesses. So there are solutions out there. We just need to be more proactive rather than reactive when it comes to being in business.
Now, the only thing with smaller businesses are that they are being pushed out by bigger companies, whether it's like a small off license being pushed out by a bigger company coming in down the road. So people aren't now visiting the small off license, or even funeral directors. I know one large company actually has their own funeral directing service as well now. What can people do to sort of maybe not stop this, because you can't stop the bigger companies, but what can they do about it? Because that could possibly be something that scares people about opening up their own businesses.
Absolutely. I know what you're talking about. It's the disruptive technology, or the disruption that big companies are causing in the small business world. Well, I believe that we need to have an economy where each person plays a part and a role. So there is a place for big businesses. There is also a place for small business. Small business, it's no longer just enough to be good in terms of, this is my shop, and because I'm the only shop in this area, people are going to come to me. There has to be a unique selling proposition. There has to be something which a small business is doing better than a big business. So, for instance, we work with service businesses, so accountants, lawyers, or financial planners, and predominantly with them. So what we help them do is a big accounting firm might help you. But sometimes clients really want to know a person. They want that personal touch, right? They want to know who is behind the business, and they want to know about their values. So we position them as a key person of influence in their business through 5 key steps. Even if it is a product business, this can work. No longer can people hide behind their businesses. They have to come out and say, this is the business I own. This is the funeral service. I have been going on for the last, we've been established for the last 40 years or 50 years. And our values are, it could be something like we think about our client first, or, the big business, a big company might promise you these things, but we really care about the community and we are helping a charity. Whatever it is, they've got to find something unique about themselves. Get behind that cause and use the technology which the big businesses have available to them. And now increasingly, we as small businesses can tap into this technology for half or fraction of the amount what it used to cost us 10 years ago.
And also, from a consumer point of view, what can consumers do to help? Because I assume that actually doing your research and not just going to the big companies straight away, but actually looking, because everything's online now. So maybe actually looking for the smaller companies in your area that might be able to help you for the same thing that the bigger companies could do, could also help people starting off their small businesses.
I could not agree more. Ultimately, the responsibility is of the consumer. If we want choice, we've got to support the other options. So, you want to buy bread, just don't go to a big supermarket and buy it. Support your local grocer. Because if you don't, it's not going to be there. That option's not going to be there for you anymore. So get to know the local businesses, support them. And as much as we are going global, there is an increasing amount of people who are thinking local. So support that cause. And ultimately, the buck stops with the consumer. Whatever we choose will grow. So make a very conscious choice and know that what consequences your everyday choices have.
And finally, where can listeners go for information?
If they want to know more about, how they can position them differently, I would strongly recommend coming to the Entrepreneur Brand Accelerator. We run these events in London. And to know more about it, you can go to keypersonofinfluence.com/UK. Just go check it out. There are these really cool strategies on how you can set up your business and make it really differentiated. And if you already have established business, it's even better because very quickly you can gain attraction rather than chasing customers.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we'll obviously be tweeting the information as well.
Thank you very much.
It
was a pleasure to be here this morning.
Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you. Cheers.
So that was the biggest barriers of starting your own business. That was Darshana talking to us, and we will be tweeting that website that she mentioned as well. Let's go into a bit of Mind Games by the Dark MC featuring Angel and Nav Sidhu before we go into the traffic and travel.